Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Beekeeper Tarot. My name is Alan, and I hope you're all doing well. Yeah. And thank you once again for the new subscribers and for the people that support this channel and the community here. So I really appreciate it. I wanted to talk about something personal today. I wanted to talk about protesting, and I wanted to give an example about how protesting achieved something in my life that benefited me. So I want to talk about marriage equality in Australia. And so Australia was and still is in some ways, quite a misogynistic, um, xenophobic, homophobic, racial country. And if you don't think that we're still racist here, look at what happened with The Voice, and that's for another conversation. But when I grew up, when I grew up in my generation, so I'm in my 50s now, and men were men and women were women, and you had to be very kind of blokey and that kind of thing, and I didn't fit into that, and that's okay. And growing up um, was very isolating, growing up in the 70s and into the 80s. So cut a long story short, because I'm trying to keep this to the point. So I can't remember what year it was, but we had a conservative prime minister by the name of John Howard, who I don't have entertainment, only YouTube, who I don't have a great deal of respect for. He did one thing with gun control, which was good, but apart from that, I didn't really respect him. And he changed marriage in our constitution to mean marriage between a man and a man and a woman. So I just can't remember what year that was. So fast forward a couple of years after that, the gay and lesbian, the LGBTQ community, the queer community, we started to demand our rights, that we wanted to have equality under the law to marry and for our relationships to be legally recognized if we wanted to. And so what happened was that the then Prime Minister, we had a Labor Prime Minister, her name was Gillard, Gillian Gillard. So Labor is like the Dems, they're more progressive. And she was actually against marriage equality, she was against gay marriage. Then after that, we had Conservative government. We had a couple of prime ministers that were totally revolting, in my humble opinion. And so we started protesting. And I think from memory, the first protest for marriage equality started in 2007. And we actually won it in 2017. But this is what happened. The then Prime Minister of Australia, his name was Malcolm Turnbull. He decided that the Australian people should vote to decide whether if gay and lesbian people should be included equally under the law. In other words, he didn't want to make that decision for equality. He wanted to give it to the people. So it was for them to decide in the form of a plebiscite, a postal plebiscite. I kid you not. It was a non-compulsory postal plebiscite. So you got a little thing in the mail and it said, do you support marriage equality? And yes or no. And we had politicians that, especially a guy by the name of entertainment only YouTube, a guy by the name of Tony Abbott, who was vehemently against marriage equality, as were a lot of the Conservatives. And so we had the plebiscite, and this is after like almost a decade of protesting and just getting out there in the streets. And the thing with protesting is that you need to bring water so you can yell and keep yourself hydrated, and you need to bring water for someone else. That's really important for protesting. So yeah, just bring water so you can yell and make some noise and bring water for someone else. And it's a really good way to meet people and to form those barriers, to form those alliances with people. Because during the marriage equality rallies and the protests that we had, at least in Sydney, there was a whole diverse range of people, like, old people, young people, gay people, straight people, trans, just everybody was there, different nationalities, all wanting this to happen. And so we had the plebiscite. And literally before that, it was horrible because the government was really saying to us as gay people that, you know what, mate, your love is not quite good enough. It left us feeling very marginalized, like every Indigenous person would feel in Australia, like every immigrant would feel in Australia. It left us feeling marginalized, and it left us feeling, or left me feeling in that way, that maybe my love wasn't quite good enough. Maybe there was something wrong with me, with the way that I love. Maybe that didn't quite cut the mustard. Anyway, so we had the vote. And so before the vote, it was very important to me that we had a yes vote, because um, I don't want to get married to anybody, but I want that choice. And that's what it's all about. It's about having the freedom to do what I decide to do. So we had so before the plebiscite, like I'm, catching Ubers, and I'm saying to people, oh, what do you think about gay and lesbian people? And what do you think about the upcoming plebiscite? And I'm doing everything I can in every little way to encourage people to vote. And I came across a lot of discrimination, but I just pushed through it. I just said, why do you think that the love between two people of the same sex is any different to the love between a man and a woman? Like, what's the difference? And then people were saying that, if we allow gay marriage in Australia, then it will somehow destroy the I don't know how to say it, the sanctity of heterosexual marriage, or it will interfere with heterosexual marriages. Well, the only way that that's going to interfere with someone that's in a heterosexual marriage, it would be if that person isn't heterosexual. let's just be blunt about that. So I'm talking to people and really exposing myself and feeling very vulnerable, but I'm just trying to do whatever I could in my own little way. And I was going to the protests. And eventually we got the legislation. But literally the Australian government dragged the LGBTQ community feet first through the mud. It was horrible. And that's how it felt for me, at least. But they literally just dragged us feet through in the mud. And they didn't have to, or they just changed the constitution. Why? And then the government didn't want to make the decision because it was like a political hot potato, just throw it away. And I remember thinking, how dare, like, if you could imagine going to the gay community and saying, hey, there's something that the straight community want. How about you all have a decision in what's something that's important to them? Like, it was really horrible, and it really divided people, and it was really, really, really unnecessary. And so on the day that the plebiscite was done, and it was incredibly emotional for all of us that were affected by this, and our friends and the loved ones and the people in our lives, that we were just wanting equality. We weren't wanting anything else but equality. That was it. That was it. And so what happened was, after that, was the Prime Minister at the time, his name was Malcolm Turnbull. He said, oh, what a day for love. Sorry, I was going to swear then. Zip it, Alan. But that's what he said. But we got the legislation through. Now, the reason I'm saying this is that with what's happening and this is happening globally with 47, as hopeless as I thought that we would get marriage equality back in 2006, back in 2007, when we were just like a group of a few hundred people making noise, but that grew. And so what I'm saying to you is that don't feel helpless in all of this. Just do something. Make a phone call. If you can go to a rally, protest peacefully, get involved with an organization, get involved with people, stay in touch with the community. Like, don't face this alone. And we will get there. We will get there. And the reason that I'm divulging some personal information here, I'm hoping that it might strike a chord with someone out there that's feeling a bit helpless or a bit hopeless about what's going on, especially with the current US administration and all the incredible insanity that's happening with that. Like everything, if you think about it from a Buddhist perspective, everything in life is transitional. Everything is in a constant process of change. And I'll do some readings on this, probably not today, but I will do some readings on this. And I know that a lot of readers are really getting stuck into this issue. But just as we were able to get marriage equality in Australia, and it was a long fight, and I know that women's rights are really being challenged right now in the States, and I feel positive that it's not going to end there. It's going to trans people. I mean, what the hell? You don't start me on that. But what I'm saying is just do your bit. No matter how small you might think it is or how insignificant you might think it is, just do what you can do and empower yourself in that way. And a very quick analogy that I like to think when I'm thinking about what's happening with all this crap coming out of the USA, which will affect all of us with the tariffs and God knows what else, right? Think of it like you're having an umbrella, and I said this before, but just imagine you've got an umbrella on top of you, right? And you know that, what's happening around you, it's happening, but keep safe, keep dry, keep warm under your umbrella. Your spiritual, your mental, your emotional umbrella. Just have that time away where you just don't let it penetrate you. Do not let that, okay, you might think there's puddles everywhere, and there is puddles everywhere, but claim your space, claim your space and make sure that you do something for yourself every day. Make sure that you stay connected with like-minded people, like I was when I was going through this situation with marriage equality. Just do what you can do. And another thing that you can do is, and I've spoken about this before, is just meditation. You can do some breathing meditation. I might talk about that a bit more in another video because I don't want this to drag on too long. But I hope it was okay that I shared that with you, because I know I'm totally exposing myself here, and that's okay. I'm doing this because I'm hoping it helps somebody out there. And here's the thing too, when a person goes through adversity, like on our level, like I'm, on our level, and not to mention all the other levels like Gaza and God knows Ukraine. I mean, that's just a whole different level. But on the level that we're dealing with, like when people are going through adversity, I sometimes think it creates like a fork in the road. You can either really become a victim of it, or you can use it to make you a better person. You can use it to make you a stronger person. You can use it to make you a more empathetic, caring person. So, and in that way, you take the power back from that horrible thing that's happening externally. You take the power back and stay safe under that umbrella, if you know what I mean, of your peace. And take time out, take time out from the news and just make sure that every day you do something, because it's going to still remain crazy. I think, what is it, day 37 now of all this insanity? It's going to get worse before it gets better. And, my heart really goes out to my friends in the USA. I've been to the States a couple of times and they had a great time. The American people were very friendly to me, and, they loved the accent and everything else. But I just want you to know that the world is supporting you, doing whatever we can. You are not alone, USA. Like this esoterical family, we're in this together, and we're all trying to do our bit, and just, like I said, just do what you can do. And that's all I wanted to say. And we will get there, guys, in the same way that we got there with the marriage equality in Australia. It was an absolute struggle, but we got there. And just believe that we will get there too. Like, just believe that, guys. All right. Thank you for listening to me rave on. Okay. I'll be back soon. Okay. Bye.